About 11 years ago, I was on an airplane in Cleveland, Ohio. It's an icy, snowy day. I am there just in time to catch the last flight of the day to get to give a keynote like this. I have to be on that flight. I literally feel the door hit my bottom as I get on, breathe a sigh of relief. I sit down, I put my bag under the seat. The bag is not even under the seat yet when the stranger next to me turns to me and says, "My boss is such an idiot." And I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "My boss is such a friggin' idiot. He's sending me up to this godforsaken place. They never buy anything. They never will buy anything. My boss is such an idiot." Now, she said this so loudly that the guy across the aisle overheard her and said, "Lady, not only is your boss an idiot," he said, "but the people who run this airline are idiots too." He said, "Look at this plane. There's no leg room. We're late as always. They lost my bags last week." He said, "Look at the ice on these wings. We're probably going to die on this thing." Now, I'm a pretty positive guy, but I realize I am surrounded by a sea of negativity. The plane finally takes off and the mood continues. Pretty soon people are bitching about the country, the government, the economy, each other, and I'm like, I get the virus. I catch it. Like about halfway through the first half of the flight, I turned to the woman next to me and said, "I work for an idiot too." And she said, "Who do you work for?" "I work for myself. I hate this client. I don't know why I'm going up there. I keep saying yes. I don't even like them." So you got it. We're all in the zone. And it reached the height when the flight attendant brought the so-called food around. In those days, they were still serving something for free on airplanes. It was kind of a tightly wrapped cellophane roast beef sandwich. Guy across the aisle took the top off the sandwich, smelled it, made a sour face, rang his flight attendant button. When the flight attendant came back, he held it up. He said, "Miss, this is a bad sandwich." And I love what she did. She had obviously had enough of all of us. She took it in her hand and said, "Bad sandwich, bad sandwich." And then she put it back on his tray and left. "See ya." So you got the mood. I mean, everybody is like, even the staff are in the zone. Now, about 5 rows in front of us at the bulkhead, there is a little boy about 2 years old. And you know how little kids on airplanes love to like poke their head above the seat, right, so they can look over it? Well, all during the first half of the flight, he's trying to get his little head above the seat, but he can't quite do it. Every once in a while, we'd see his hair, his eyebrows, but never saw him until about 45 minutes into the flight. He finally like yanked himself up on his tippy toes, put his little chin on the thing, and almost rested it there like a chipmunk. And as soon as he saw us, he just smiled. Ha ha. And I'm not exaggerating, within 1 minute, he transformed the mood of the 5 rows behind him. The bad sandwich guy was going like this, trying to get him to smile again. The boss is so stupid lady turned to me and said, "You got kids?" "Yeah." "How many? How many you got? How old are they?" She said, "We should be a little more positive like that kid. Why don't you go get him? We need his energy." I said, "What do you mean? Go borrow him." Now, he's 2 years old. His mother said, "Take him, please." And for the next maybe 3 or 4 minutes, he is enchanting the 5 rows around him. He's playing and dancing. Even the grumpy flight attendant now is coming, kneeling down and playing with the little kid. And a light bulb goes off in my head. This is exactly the way the whole world works. Most of us only influence about 5 rows around us. But in those 5 rows, we are incredibly powerful. And we spend so much of our time talking about what someone else should do on some plane we're not on or some row we're not sitting in. And I started thinking, how would the world be different if every one of us just said, "What can I do in my 5 rows? Let me make that real. What's going to get this region to be the best performing region in this country for your company?" And I guarantee you there's only one way it can happen, 5 rows at a time. If you step up in your 5 rows, and you step up in your 5 rows, and you step up in yours, and you step up in yours, together, you make it happen. How will we ever solve the biggest problems that we face as a society, whether it's global warming or bullying? I'll tell you, there's only one way it can be done, 5 rows at a time. If it's global warming, it's the car you drive and the meal you eat and the choices you make and the people you vote for. If it's bullying, it's if you're a parent and you're a parent and you're a teacher. It's how you teach your kids. It's you intervening and standing up. And I want to challenge you to think about this question. In my 5 rows, how can I drive an even deeper sense of purpose and engagement and success in this company? In my 5 rows, How can I have an even bigger influence on collaboration and on us learning from each other? In my 5 rows in the world, for something, whatever it is that you care about, how can you do something about that?